to Up Taiwan. I'm Ethan Liu with news from here in Taiwan and around the world. President Lai Ching-te says China has no right to represent the people of Taiwan. He made the comments in a speech to mark the country's National Day. Lai also said he was willing to cooperate with Beijing. As Rick Lauer reports, he's treading a fine line as trouble brews at home and abroad.
On the streets of Taipei, a vivid display of what it means to be Taiwanese as the country marks its National Day. Presiding over festivities for the first time, President Lai Ching-te, who took place some 6 months ago.
一起为今天美丽的台湾喝彩，迎向明天更美好的台湾。
Since assuming the presidency, Lai has had to deal with China's increasing aggression towards Taiwan, which it claims as part of its territory.
在这块土地上成长茁壮，中华人民共和国无权代表台湾。2300万台湾人民更要向全世界开枝散叶，迎向未来。
Beijing takes particular issue with Lai and his position on Taiwanese self-rule, labelling him a dangerous separatist. Lai's stance also has him fending off hostility at home. The legislature is in the hands of opposition parties sympathetic to China, and they threatened to block Lai's 2025 budget if he took too hard a line on Beijing in this speech.
So the pressure that Lai is under is one domestic, where the opposition is quite eager to seize on everything that he says to say that he's endangering the people on Taiwan. Then at the same time, Lai has to worry about the external factors. So one would be how Beijing reacts, whether Beijing will put more pressure on Taiwan.
But in his National Day address, Lai also offered a rare olive branch to Beijing.
台湾有决心致力维护台海的和平稳定，成就全球的安全和繁荣，也愿意和中国共同因应气候变迁、防堵传染病，以及维护区域安全，追求和平共荣，为两岸人民带来福祉。
Beijing has yet to comment on Lai's speech, but it's expected to respond with military drills in the coming days. The Taiwanese president trod a fine line in his address to the nation, standing up for his country's sovereignty, careful not to provoke political opposition at home, and wary of increasing the ire of a neighbour that threatens its future. Chris Ma and Rick Lauer for TaiwanPlus.
National Day in Taiwan kicked off with colorful performances in the capital. Many people in the audience were excited to see acts that showcased the country's diversity. Tiffany Wong was there.
Wishing the country a happy 113th National Day. Thousands of people came to the presidential office to celebrate this morning. And so did a dozen performance groups showcasing the country's diversity. The Taipei First Girls High School Honor Guard kicked off the parade, accompanied by the Air Force's Brave Eagles aerobatics team. And behind them on the main stage, President Lai Ching-te watching them for the first time as the nation's leader.
今年应该蛮好的，对，新总统新上任了以后，应该有新的气象。
Spectators were excited to see the same bands that perform each year, while others were there to catch a glimpse of some of the country's hottest athletes, including Olympic champions like gold medalist boxer Lin Yuting and some younger stars.
感谢你们。
龟山少棒队到威廉波特已经第4次了。那这个国庆日，我们很多优秀的运动选手今天都会出现在这个场合，来接受大家共同来庆祝。那我也相信他们的荣耀就是代表为这个国家这块土地而奉献。
There was also a special performance from Alephis, an Amis dance group from Hualien County in East Taiwan, an area hard hit by a deadly earthquake earlier this year. celebration was meant to highlight the country's achievements in the past year, emphasizing its multiculturalism, unity, and strength.
Now the festivities are set to continue with a fireworks show in Yunlin County in central Taiwan, really spreading that celebratory spirit from here at the presidential office to every corner of the nation on its birthday. Scott Huang and Tiffany Wong in Taipei for TaiwanPlus.
China has already reacted to President Lai Ching-te's address, calling it a, quote, secessionist speech. All eyes are now on what its military reaction might be. Jaime Ocon has been monitoring the situation around Taiwan.
China has been increasing its military activity in the region ahead of Taiwan's National Day. On Thursday, Taiwan's Defense Ministry reported 27 Chinese military aircraft operating around the country. That's an unusually high number. Now, 15 of those planes breached Taiwan's Air Defense Identification Zone, or ADIZ. This airspace is not part of Taiwan's territory, but the military uses it as a buffer zone for security purposes. Those planes were part of a joint combat readiness patrol. It's important to remember that Chinese planes around Taiwan is a common way in which Beijing puts pressure on the country, but it's pretty likely that we'll see more activity coming from China. Back in May, after President Lai Ching-te's inauguration speech, China reacted with 2 days of large-scale exercises called Joint Sword 2024A. That simulated an attack on Taiwan with more than 100 aircraft taking part in that drill. Analysts say that Taiwan could use Taiwan's National Day, as a pretext to conduct more exercises.
I don't want to say reaction because I think pretext is the right word. I think they're looking for an excuse. Obviously, they can just ratchet up the political pressure on the Lai administration. They can also use this to just normalize military activity that didn't used to be normal. And then, of course, in every one of these exercises, they are getting the chance to practice the things that they would want to practice before they might have to actually do this for real.
Sources within Taiwan's Defense Ministry tell me that they are on the lookout for some sort of large-scale exercise, maybe even a Joint Sword B, which would be part 2 of China's exercises that took place in May. That could possibly simulate a blockade of Taiwan, which could last anywhere from a few days to even maybe a week. Howard Zhang and Jaime Ocon in Taipei for TaiwanPlus.
More than 30,000 fireworks have lit up the skies. Now we'll bring you live images from Taiwan's southern Yunlin County.
在云林的大自然风光。
The display lasted for 41 minutes, a National Day record set to a live performance from the National Symphony Orchestra. It was the final event of a day of performances in Yunlin and across Taiwan as the country celebrates its 113th anniversary. And how will Lai's speech go down in Washington? For analysis on that, Louis Watt spoke to Ross Feingold, a political risk analyst based in Taipei.
How will Lai's speech be viewed in Washington, do you think?
Probably just as most other speeches by Taiwan's president is viewed. What the United States is really looking for or is concerned about are any moves towards anything along the lines of de jure independence. What the U.S. is most concerned about is whether or not the president says we're an independent country called Taiwan, which President Lai did not do. He emphasized, as he always does now when he makes a major speech, he emphasized that the People's Republic of China and the Republic of China on Taiwan are not subordinate to each other. And it's pretty clear that given the frequency that the president uses that line, and before President Lai President Tsai also used that line, it's pretty clear that the United States is okay with that. Otherwise, if the United States wasn't okay with that, it's likely the president would not keep using it.
How is Lai viewed by the US government?
In my own opinion, President Lai was the preference of the United States during Taiwan's presidential election campaign last year with the voting this past January. I think Lai was preferred over the Kuomintang or Chinese Nationalist Party candidate Hou You-yi or the Taiwan People's Party candidate, former Taipei City Mayor Ko Wen-je. And I think Lai, compared to the other two candidates, had a higher level of familiarity to U.S. policymakers, given that he's been involved in politics for so many years as a legislator, as the mayor of Tainan City, as the executive UN premier, and as vice president over the preceding 4 years. And so I think the United States had a comfort level with Lai. They knew that President Lai was going to follow in President Tsai's footsteps when it comes to China policy or relationship with the United States.
That was Ross Feingold, a political risk analyst based in Taipei. Good news for shoppers in Taiwan as inflation in September fell to its lowest level this year since February. Taiwan's consumer price index grew 1.82% in September compared to the same period last year. This is lower than the central bank's 2% inflation target. The figure ended a 4-month streak of growth that exceeded the government target. The Statistics Office said the drop in the index figure was largely helped by a slump in prices for everyday essentials like eggs and vegetables. Taiwan's population is continuing to drop. Government data shows the population decreased by 2,500 people in September as more people died than were born. And while 1,300 people arrived from abroad, that was not enough to offset the overall decline. There have also been fewer births compared to the same period last year, contributing to the gradual population decrease. The Coast Guard has released 2 melon-headed whales off the northeast coast. The whales were found stranded on the beach 2 days ago. They were cared for in a rehabilitation center before their release this morning. Melon-headed whales are rare in Taiwan. Researchers are looking into whether Typhoon Kwarton or human activity interfered with their navigation. A small family-owned farm in California has been growing Taiwanese fruit and vegetables in a suburban backyard for over 20 years. It's become a pillar of the local community, providing a small taste of home over 10,000 kilometers away from Taiwan. Wesley Lewis reports.
Couple Liao Da-sheng and Du Fu-zhen emigrated from Taiwan to Southern California over 2 decades ago. They've put down roots there, creating a new home and a small farm.
提议说我要来种菜啊，然后呢，因为有这么一大片的空地嘛，所以就是这样开始慢慢在开花。
They say they learned most of what they know about agriculture from career farmers back in Taiwan.
我每次回台湾的时候，我都会去像农会，还是说农业专家，还是一些比较特殊的水果农场，他们都有产销班，请教他们。 台湾的天气跟这边天气差别很大，你必须要去摸索它，如何让它在这边吃的味道口感都跟台湾一样。
The couple grow over 10 different kinds of organic fruit and vegetables, all of which are commonly found in Taiwan, but are hard to come by in the U.S.
台湾的口感，我们这边的乡亲绝对会非常喜欢，非常接受。那尤其是莲雾在这边。 说职业场的人物在这边目前还没有。
Over the years, they have slowly introduced more new additions to their crops, including dragon fruit. Their produce has already garnered a loyal customer base.
我的女儿因为在美国生的，可是回到台湾之后吃到莲雾就好喜欢，所以后来发现这边有卖莲雾，我们就特别订了莲雾来这边买。
For now, Liao and Du don't plan on expanding their farm. They say they're satisfied with their backyard business, bringing a small piece of Taiwan to their local community in California. Joseph Wu and Wesley Lewis for TaiwanPlus.
Thank you for watching What's Up Taiwan. Finally, we leave you with more images of the national fireworks in Yunlin, which featured nearly 30,000 fireworks and a stunning performance with 400 drones. I'm Ethan Liu. Take care, and I'll see you next time.